Jesus reveals this powerful prayer for complete healing of body and soul. How many times have you sought help, consulted specialists, taken medication, listened to advice, and still your heart remains heavy, your body tired, your soul wounded? Maybe you're dealing with a pain no one else understands, an unnamed illness, a diagnosis with no solution, or worse, a suffering that medicine can't even detect, yet you feel it every single day. What do you do when the tests say everything's fine, but deep down you know something is wrong? What do you do when the pain isn't just physical, but is wrapped up in your thoughts, emotions, and spirit? There are moments when the only way out is not human. It's spiritual, and if you're here, it's because your heart already knows that. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. This is not just a beautiful phrase from the Bible. It's a living, active, real promise. Jesus still calls the overwhelmed. He still extends his hand to those who can't carry their burdens anymore, and he brought you here today for a greater reason than you can imagine. The prayer you are about to hear is not an ordinary prayer. Every detail of it was written to reach not only your body, but also the things no one else can see, your emotions, your memories, your inner battles. You'll notice in the very first minutes, this isn't like any other prayer. Every word was built to bring real transformation, to guide you on a deep journey of complete healing, from the root to the surface. But before we begin, I invite you to pause and reflect. How much longer will you try to fix everything with your own hands? How much longer will you pretend you're okay when everything inside you is screaming the opposite? It's time to stop surviving and start living. And that change begins now. Stay until the end of this video and prepare to feel the touch of Jesus in places of your life you didn't even know needed healing. Let us pray. Lord Jesus, I come before your holy presence with a heart torn by nameless pain, by symptoms beyond human understanding, by afflictions that arrive without warning and deepen without mercy. I'm here, Lord, not just for myself, but for every soul carrying a silent suffering, fighting a hidden illness, smiling on the outside, while their body and soul cry out in silence. Only you know where the pain begins, where it feeds, and where it tries to destroy. That's why I place myself now before your gaze, which sees the invisible, which detects what no test can, which feels what no medicine can reach. I don't come with human formulas. I come with faith. And I ask you, touch with your authority where everything else has failed. There are pains that come like shadows, subtle and sneaky, that settle into parts of the body and soul without anyone noticing. The body bends, the shoulders grow heavy, thoughts become tangled, and hope begins to unravel. But when your name is sincerely invoked, Jesus, every shadow disappears. When your touch is revealed, the impossible retreats. Touch now where pain was born in silence. Maybe in an unresolved memory, an untreated trauma, a sorrow never shared. May your touch go deeper than any scalpel, more effective than any treatment, not just numbing the pain, Lord, but transforming it completely. Some have been through appointments, therapies, exams, and still carry an emptiness, a lingering discomfort, a disease that defies definition. But you are the physician who needs no diagnosis to act. You don't depend on lab results to release healing, and that is what I ask of you now. Touch what no one else could reach, heal what no one else could understand, dissolve what no one else could explain. Your word says that a single command from you brings forth the miracle. Let that command be released now, over the body that suffers, over the mind that screams, over the soul that is weary. Where medicine reaches its limits, your power breaks through without boundaries. Jesus, restore dormant functions, damaged systems, cells that multiplied incorrectly, realign nerves, reduce inflammation, cleanse every area affected by pain. Let every infection cease, every hidden evil be uprooted. Touch now where there is swelling, where there is scarring, where there is degeneration. but also touch where the soul was bruised, where the heart became numb, where faith was wounded by loss. Touch with power, Lord, touch with precision. And wherever there is darkness, may your light shine like a flame no pain can extinguish. Right now, I surrender to you the physical pain that prevents the body from moving freely, but I also surrender the internal pain that paralyzes decisions, blocks dreams, and sabotages emotions. Let this surrender not be symbolic but real. May each word from this prayer rise to heaven as a cry for help and fall to earth as a command of healing. May every organ hear your voice and realign. May every feeling that sickens the spirit be replaced by peace. And may every disordered area of the body and soul bow before your authority. And if someone is praying with me right now, Jesus, let them feel as if they're being touched directly by you. Let a soft breeze announce the healing. Let an unexplainable peace flood the room. Let the body start responding differently. Let the mind find rest. Let the symptoms begin to shift. Because when you move, the impossible bends, the pain retreats, the illness loses power, and the miracle takes place as an answer for those who never gave up believing. Jesus, I come in prayer before you to ask for something beyond relief. I cry out for rebuilding because there are marks left by illness on the body and soul that continue to scream even after the pain has gone. There are internal structures that were shaken, areas of the body that lost their original strength, and emotions that couldn't recover after so many days of struggle. So I ask you to rebuild everything that was affected, restore the functions that ceased to operate, redesign the paths of health within me. Let no trace of destruction remain standing. Where sickness spread ruin, let your power come as the architect of something new. Jesus, touch the parts that medicine declared beyond repair. If nerves were damaged, restore them. If bones were corroded, strengthen them. If joints lost their mobility, bring them back to life. Nothing escapes your command. Where degeneration took place, let regeneration happen. Where time has worn down the body, let time itself submit to your word. You are the one who gave sight to the blind, made the lame walk, and raised the dead. And today, my request is for that same miracle to reach my body with your perfection. Let all after effects vanish. Let what seemed lost be rebuilt stronger than ever. Jesus, go beyond the physical, rebuild the emotional as well. There are traumas caused by long periods of illness that left deep scars on the soul, fears that settled in, insecurities that grew, defenses that rose like barriers to pain. But now I declare those walls are falling, because you don't just heal, you rebuild beautifully. Where there were ashes, you bring color. Where there was silence, you bring songs. Where discouragement once lived, hope is reborn. Let the soul find balance again. Let the mind be fortified. Let the spirit rediscover its foundation. Jesus, do not let me live patched together. I will not accept a half-life. I want to live fully, whole in health, renewed in strength, restored in joy. So I declare every area shaken by suffering is now rising again through your living word. Every part of my body that lost its function is now being touched by your presence. And what seemed irreversible is being transformed before your eyes. Let this moment be marked as the rebirth of everything that was affected. Jesus, return to my heart the rhythm of peace. Let it beat in harmony, with trust, without panic, without distress. Restore balance to my nervous system. Restore lightness to my mind. Restore strength to my body as someone who has purpose. Let no part be forgotten. Let no system be left out of this reconstruction. I don't want to carry memories of pain. I want testimonies of healing. I want to look within and see evidence of your touch in every detail. I want to know that even after the pain, I am someone new, remade by your hands. Jesus, seal this rebuilding with your constant presence. Let the restoration be not only physical, but spiritual. Let the renewal be complete, with no gaps, no fragile places. Let my life now carry the signature of someone who was rebuilt by you. Let every step be firm. Let every breath be light. Let every day from now on reflect the perfect work you are doing in me, because no one who passes through your hands ever remains the same. Jesus, at this moment, I lay before you all the inherited burdens of pain that have run through generations and now attempt to find a home in me. If there are illnesses passed down from parents to children, patterns of suffering repeated like a sentence, I cry out for you to break those chains now. I do not accept to carry the weight of diseases that do not come from you. I do not accept to live as a prisoner of family statistics. I do not accept that the blood flowing through my veins would condemn me to repeat histories of suffering. Jesus, place your blood over mine. Let your DNA cancel every genetic sentence. Let your power interrupt the cycle of every hereditary illness. Jesus, look upon those who live in fear of developing the same disease that took away their loved ones. Fear of waking up one day and seeing those same symptoms appear. But under your authority, that fear loses its right to live in me. Natural genetics may suggest probabilities, but your power defines realities. And that's why I cry out to you. Replace what was inherited from the flesh with what is born of your spirit. Where there are records of disease, erase them. Where there are tendencies to repeat, block them. Where there are negative forecasts, destroy them. Jesus, let the only inheritance I carry be what flows from your throne, abundant life. Jesus, if there are family memories marked by hospital stays, painful treatments, or irreversible diagnoses, I declare now that those memories hold no power over my story. I'm not a continuation of pain. I'm the beginning of healing. I'm not the repetition of failure. I'm the exception through your touch. Let it be declared in heaven and on earth. My body is your temple, and no evil has permission to persist in me. Jesus, enter my lineage. Go back to the beginning of my family story and rewrite its path. Stop the flow of pain. Intervene where no one else can. Because you don't respect curses, you break them. You don't agree with oppression, you set captives free. Jesus, renew my blood, my genetic makeup, my biological codes. Let every cell recognize your authority. Let every organ function in the perfection of your design. Let my body declare your sovereignty. I now disconnect myself from everything established without your permission. Let every spirit of hereditary illness lose its strength. Let every hidden curse wrapped in family tradition be broken. Let every evil disguised as natural inheritance be expelled. And let health be established as a new legacy to be passed down. Jesus, change the root so that the fruit may be different. Change the origin so the destiny can be renewed. Jesus, raise a healed generation beginning with me. Let my restored health be the end of a cycle of family illness. Let my children never know the pain I have known. Let those who come after me find freedom where there was once oppression. I do not accept being the continuation of tragedy. I was chosen to be a testimony of your intervention. Let this generation be known not by the diseases it carried, but by the miracles it lived. Jesus, make me the turning point, and let all of hell know the story of my family is being rewritten by your hands. Jesus, what was once considered inevitable is now interrupted. What seemed certain because of genetics has become a lie before your truth. What the world declared as my fate has been rejected by your blood. Illness may have tried, but it had no permission, because where your name is invoked with faith, even what has run for generations must bow. And today, everything that was being passed down ends here, because where you arrive, the story changes, and healing becomes permanent. Jesus, I'm here to cry out for those who are at their breaking point, those who no longer have the strength to pray with words, only with tears. There are bodies that are exhausted, minds overwhelmed, hearts that cannot bear one more day of pain. People who get up and face life with superhuman effort, hiding suffering behind mechanical smiles. And it's for them that I come before you, because only you know what's going on inside every tired soul. Only you understand the scream that echoes in the silence of those who don't want to worry others. Jesus, come now with your relief. Not a shallow relief, but one that reaches the root of the pain and ends everything that suffocates. Jesus, touch every strained nerve, every locked up muscle, every heartbeat racing from anxiety. Where a body can't relax, lay your peace. Where there's mental turmoil, silence the storm. Where there's breathlessness from despair, make the air flow calmly again. Let that tired, pressured, and oppressed body, worn down by endless days of suffering, now feel the gentle touch of your care. May the person listening to this prayer feel surrounded by something different, something not from pills, not from therapy, but from your real presence. Jesus, you are the expert in renewing what's been worn out, reigniting what has gone cold, lifting up what has fallen. Jesus, some think they won't make it another day. They look at the future and see only more pain, more waiting, more disappointment. But you are the God who changes everything with a single word. One touch from you can accomplish what years of effort could not. One breath from you lifts the weight of a lifetime. So I ask that this story changes today. That the body that stopped responding begins to react. That the mind that only thought of giving up finds strength again. That the soul that was sinking in sadness now sees a light rising. Jesus, do not delay the relief. Come now, because there are lives holding on to you as their last hope. Jesus, the pain may be great, but your care is greater. You do not ignore the suffering of those who cry out. You do not disappear when exhaustion becomes unbearable. So Lord, raise up those who felt defeated. Raise up those who no longer believed healing was possible. Raise up those who thought nothing would ever change. Turn this exhaustion into renewal. Turn this burnout into unexpected strength. Turn these tears into a testimony. Jesus, the relief the world can't give, you deliver completely. And that's the relief I ask for with all my heart. Jesus, even if the body is still undergoing treatment, even if the healing process is ongoing, let the soul receive rest right now, because when the soul rests, the body responds better. When the spirit is renewed, healing accelerates. When peace reigns inside, the chaos outside loses its grip. Let this prayer be a balm, a pause in the middle of the battle, a heavenly embrace for those who've been alone in their pain. Jesus, let the relief be so real that even the atmosphere shifts, that thoughts grow quiet, and that symptoms give way before your presence. Jesus, I thank you because I know you hear the cry of the broken-hearted, and right now, a new breath is being released over someone who thought they couldn't take another moment. Fatigue is retreating, oppression is losing its hold, the mind is clearing, the heart is breathing hope. And all of this does not come from me or from human effort. It comes from you, because only you know the kind of relief that lasts. And today, that relief has arrived. Jesus, there are pains so deep that medicine cannot reach, symptoms so disguised that even the most advanced machines can't detect them. These are afflictions hidden in silence, shaped in thoughts, and revealed through sudden emotional breakdowns with no clear cause. People go through tests and hear there's nothing wrong. But inside, everything hurts, everything tightens, everything cries for help. And it is for these undiagnosed pains that I now pray, Jesus, enter the hallways of the soul, visit the archives of the mind, search every memory stuck like an open wound. Go where man cannot reach, and let your power bring restoration with precision. Jesus, there are people who spend their days fighting invisible oppressions they can't explain. An uninvited sadness, a chest weighed down by unknown pressure, a tiredness that sleep never heals. These are scars on the soul, old traumas, emotional weights disguised as physical illnesses. But you know the origin of each pain. You know where the emptiness began, that choking sensation, that swing between excitement and despair. So heal the invisible, heal what the lab reports don't show, heal what no one can validate but is consuming from within day after day. Jesus, restore with your light everything the darkness tries to hide. Jesus, if anyone is trapped in painful memories stored in the body as tension, insomnia, hair loss, muscle pain, or emotional breakdowns, free them now. Let them feel that you are unlocking files even they buried long ago. Let emotional scars begin to close. Let the soul stop bleeding. Let the body respond with lightness. You are the only one who can stitch what tore on the inside. You are the only one who can erase what felt eternal. And when you heal from the inside out, there is no room left for relapse, because everything is rebuilt in perfection. Jesus, this hidden pain might have a name: rejection, abandonment, disappointment, fear, guilt. And even if the world can't see it, you see it. Even if no one understands, you do. Even if others dismiss it as weakness, you take it seriously. So heal, Jesus. Heal the wounded teenager still living in the tired adult. Heal the child still crying deep inside. Heal the woman who smiles at the mirror but weeps into her pillow. Heal the man who looks strong but is silently falling apart. Jesus, this healing is urgent. It cannot be delayed any longer. Jesus, there are pains that paralyze dreams, sabotage relationships, and block accomplishments. Because when the soul is sick, the future seems locked. But today, through this prayer, I prophesy a full release. Let the past lose its power. Let the painful memory be replaced with peace. Let the emotional burden be exchanged for purpose. Let this soul rise as if reborn. Let this mind breathe as if waking from a long nightmare. Let the body reflect the transformation that began in the unseen. Jesus, what tests can't detect, your spirit reveals. What treatments can't reach, your presence restores. What doctors don't understand, your heart already knows. That's why this healing is real. This deliverance has already begun. Because where you enter, no pain remains hidden. Nothing stays the same. Not even the pain that was never named. Not even the void that was never explained. Not even the weight no one could understand. Today, all of it finds an answer in you. Jesus, there are people who don't want to die, but can no longer live with enthusiasm. They're merely existing, walking through their days like a desert with no end, no purpose, no color, no meaning. Hearts dimmed, souls emptied, minds unmotivated. Weariness has become routine. Hope feels like a distant memory. So I cry out to you with urgency. Restore the will to live. Reignite the flame in their chest. Bring back the joy of waking up and realizing that there is still something beautiful left to experience. Jesus, breathe new life into those who've stopped believing in tomorrow. Jesus, visit now those who feel they've lost the spark of life. Those who look in the mirror and no longer recognize themselves. Those who no longer find joy in simple things. Who don't dream, don't plan, don't desire. This lack of will is a silent pain, a constant burden, an invisible abyss. But you specialize in turning deserts into gardens. You give water to thirsty souls, color to gray days, direction to the lost. Jesus, touch the essence of the one hearing this prayer. Replant the desire to fight, to try again, to smile. Restore not only energy, but purpose. Let every heartbeat be driven by meaning. Jesus, remove from their path every inner voice saying, it's not worth it anymore. Every lie that sowed surrender, every comparison that robbed them of courage, every frustration that drained their hope. You know the behind the scenes of every soul. You know the moments when pain grew so great they disconnected from themselves. But now, by the authority of your name, I declare, life pulses again. The flame reignites. The vision clears. The heart grows stronger. What once was broken begins to fit together again. Jesus, this person will no longer live out of obligation, but from deep conviction. Jesus, touch where passion died, where plans were abandoned because of disappointment, where projects were buried by pain, where steps slowed down for fear of being hurt again. Let every cell receive the command of hope. Let every part of the being remember there is a calling, a destiny, a greater purpose. We are not here by accident, and you didn't pour life into us for us to live on autopilot. So turn the emptiness into direction, turn fear into courage, turn apathy into action. Jesus, make all things new on the inside. Jesus, some are living for others, out of obligation, disconnected from their own identity. But you know the root of this disconnect. So I ask you now, reconnect the soul to its purpose. Restore the awareness that every life has value, has a mission, has a reason to keep going. Let every tear shed from frustration now become a seed of rebirth. Let this prayer mark the day when everything changed. Jesus, the person listening may have lost their way, but you are the way. Lead them back to the place where they desire to live again. Jesus, I thank you because I know that even when someone gives up on themselves, you never give up. You wait with patience, you protect with care, you cry out in love until the heart beats again with meaning. And today I declare the will to live is being restored. The body responds with lightness, the mind clears, the soul breathes again. Life has color once more, not by human effort, but because you touched. And when you touch, everything begins to bloom again. Jesus, there are bodies that can no longer react, people who wake up already exhausted, drained of energy, dragging themselves through the hours as if every movement were a sacrifice. It's not just physical fatigue, it's a heaviness that seems to live in their bones, a weakness that runs down the spine and steals even the light from their eyes. That's why I cry out to you, inexhaustible source of strength. Strengthen this body that has no strength left. Pour upon it the power of endurance, the ability to rise even when everything feels too heavy. Jesus, when you breathe upon a weary body, it rises. When you touch it, exhaustion retreats. When you command, vitality comes back to life. Jesus, reach now the weakened muscles, the limbs that lost their firmness, the systems of the body operating in slow motion. Where there is sluggish metabolism, revive it. Where there is restricted movement, release it. Where emotional paralysis has taken physical form, break it. Let every cell now receive a wave of strength from above. Let every part of the body remember there's a purpose to go on. Lord, this tired body is waiting for you. It needs your creative touch, not just to move, but to live with intensity. Jesus, visit this body now and restore everything that was drained by pain, by struggle, or by waiting. Jesus, I bring before you the diagnoses involving chronic fatigue, syndromes, autoimmune diseases, aging wear, or nervous exhaustion. You know how each illness has been draining energy, how even walking, talking, or standing up has become a daily battle. But your name is strength for the weak. Your name lifts the fallen. Your name gives new steps to those who thought they'd never walk strong again. So I declare, let this body now be reactivated by your command. Let fatigue leave. Let discouragement give way to motion. Let life enter these dry bones, just like the valley that heard your voice and rose again. Jesus, many have already grown used to limitation. They've reshaped their lives around pain, adapted their routines to weakness. But you did not create us to merely survive. You formed us to walk in freedom, to live in fullness, to move with grace. And that's what I ask now. Restore the original design. Let this body function with excellence again. Let every organ, every joint, every cell operate under the command of health. Let this body be a visible testimony of your restoration. Jesus, let this person dance again, run again, express themselves again, smile with a light body once more. Jesus, some are so emotionally exhausted that their bodies are falling ill as a reflection of the soul. For them, I ask something deeper. Renew from the inside out. Let joy in the soul begin healing in the physical structure. Let the restored mind start sending signals of life. Let resurrected faith begin reversing fatigue. You are the one who strengthens the spirit, and when the spirit rises, the body follows. Jesus, bring harmony between body, soul, and spirit. Let all of it work together toward your will. Jesus, I close this cry by thanking you for the strength that's already being released. I know weakness is making way for vigor. I know limbs are beginning to renew. I know the soul is breathing more lightly, and I know this body that once dragged itself is now preparing to run. Because when you strengthen, there is no limit to what can be done. Where there was exhaustion, now there is energy. Where there was heaviness, now there is lightness. Where there was limitation, now there is testimony. Because you touched, Lord, and nothing will ever be the same. Jesus, I cry out to you for those being consumed by silent anguish, an invisible weight that presses against the soul, that invades the chest without permission. These are people surrounded by others, yet they feel a deep emptiness inside. They smile, they work, they care for others, but when they return to themselves, they find only desert. They no longer know how to breathe peacefully, how to sleep without worry, how to live without the constant tightening in their hearts. So I ask you, enter now into this hidden place, this secret corner of the soul, and break the power of anguish. Let it lose its strength. Let it retreat in the face of your presence. Jesus, where it fed on fear, insecurity, and pain, let peace now bloom. Jesus, this anguish often has no name. It has no clear cause, no logic, no explanation. Yet it paralyzes. It takes away appetite, steals sleep, destroys relationships, removes the will to live. But you, who know even what has never been spoken, know where it was born. You know what fed that lump in the throat, that feeling of suffocation, that sadness without tears. And that's why I plead with you. Go to the origin. Go to the moment where it all began. Undo the ties. Free the soul that's being imprisoned by unnamed feelings. Jesus, you are peace where there is an inner war. Jesus, enter the restless mind that overthinks, anticipates pain, replays trauma, imagines the worst. Take control of anxious thoughts, calm the racing heart, disarm the soul that's constantly on high alert. So often, anguish doesn't scream, but it quietly drains the person from within, stealing motivation, destroying self-worth. So cleanse every toxic thought now. Expel every lie that says nothing will ever change. Fill the mind with everything that builds up, calms, and points to hope. Jesus, renew the inner self with your truth. Jesus touched the physical symptoms of this anguish too, where there are constant headaches, tightness in the chest, stomach issues, or physical imbalance caused by emotional pain. Heal the effects of the inner wounds. Let the body align with a restored soul. Let the now peaceful mind release commands of calm. Let even the heartbeat slow under the touch of your presence. Jesus, bring relief as only you know how to give. Relief that doesn't depend on environment, people, or circumstances, but comes from you alone. Jesus, if there is someone suffocating from painful memories, from guilt they can't release, from losses they couldn't overcome, extend your hand now. Speak to their wounded heart. I am here. Let that presence transform everything. Let fear become courage. Let emptiness become fullness. Let anguish become a testimony of overcoming. Jesus, wherever there is an oppressed heart, let it be set free now. Let shoulders rise again. Let the soul breathe again. Let joy begin to show signs of life once more. Jesus, I praise you because I know that right now anguish is being defeated, not by human strength, not by fleeting strategies, but by your divine intervention. And this person who was once crushed by dark emotions will now feel lightness, peace, and a calm that cannot be explained. Because where you step, chaos flees. Where you touch, pain stops. Where you enter, anguish disappears. And I believe that from this moment on, nothing will ever be the same. Jesus, my body is your temple, and so I now ask you, perform a complete, deep, and definitive cleansing of everything that contaminates it from within. Remove the toxins that have built up over time, from food, emotions, environments, and choices that do not honor you. Purify every organ, every cell, every system with your restoring touch. Let my liver be renewed. Let my kidneys be detoxified. Let my blood flow again with lightness and purity. Nothing that poisons has power before you, Jesus. Where there is venom, turn it into life. Where there are traces of pain, replace them with peace. Where there's accumulated damage, bring total renewal. Jesus, cleanse also the emotional impurities that affect my body without me even realizing. Stored anger, unforgiven hurts, constant anxiety, repressed sadness, all of this slowly poisons my inner being. And even though the symptoms show up physically, the true battleground is in the soul. So Jesus, visit the hidden places of my heart. Remove the bitterness that's been buried, dissolve the guilt that sickened my thoughts, eliminate envy, resentment, pride, and comparison. Wash me inside with your presence. Let me feel clean within, light, restored, and whole. Jesus, do not let me live with what destroys me in silence. Many times we grow used to discomfort, bloating, or recurring pain and stop noticing that we're slowly being corrupted from the inside. But you, who see all things, do not overlook any impurity. So examine me now with your holy eyes. If anything is outside of your will, remove it. If there are habits pulling me away from full health, reveal them. If there are substances, addictions, foods, or even thoughts harming me, replace them with choices that lead to life. Jesus, let your Spirit teach me to care for my body with responsibility, discipline, and reverence. Jesus, touch every part of me where impurity has settled, where digestion is weak, where the stomach suffers, where hormones are out of balance, where the skin reflects internal chaos. Act with precision. No area is too small for your care. No dysfunction is too complex for your power. Let health flourish as the result of a clean body, a purified soul, and a spirit aligned with your voice. Jesus, let this cleansing process bring not only healing, but lasting transformation. Jesus, also cleanse me from external influences entering through my environment, where there is exposure to destructive energy, to toxic words, to heavy atmospheres. Purify. Protect my body from what I cannot see, but still affects me. Let the air I breathe be light. Let the places I go be free from spiritual contamination. Let everything around me contribute to my health, not to my destruction. Jesus, filter what enters through my eyes, ears, mouth, and skin. Let everything pass through the filter of your presence. Jesus, I thank you because I know you're already at work within me. I can feel your move, reorganizing my body from the inside as if a river of life is washing away all that poisoned me. Where there was heaviness, now there is lightness. Where there was discomfort, now there is balance. Where there was buildup, now there is flow. And I declare I am being cleansed by you, strengthened by you, healed by you. Let my body reflect your care. Let my health reveal your glory. Because when you purify Jesus, nothing stays the same. Everything returns to its original state, whole, healthy, and full of life. Jesus, there are behaviors that seem harmless on the surface, but behind them, there's a silent cry for help. They are repeated decisions that cause harm, habits that drain health, silent choices that sabotage life. Many don't even realize they are slowly self-destructing. Through reckless eating, sleepless nights, consuming anxiety, or repressed emotions. But you see every detail. You know the hidden reason behind the neglect, the compulsion, the exhaustion. That's why I cry out to you, interrupt this cycle now. Jesus, take control and cut at the root every mechanism of internal destruction. Jesus, how many walk on the edge of guilt, carrying an invisible burden of self-sabotage? People who unconsciously punish themselves for past mistakes, who believe they don't deserve happiness, who reject healing because they've grown used to pain. But today, Lord, by the authority of your name, I declare, this cycle ends now. Let every mindset of inferiority be broken. Let every feeling of unworthiness lose its grip. Let every attempt to hide behind pain be replaced by rebirth. Jesus, when you enter, you don't just heal, You transform the vision. You raise the fallen. You give new worth to those who gave up on themselves. Jesus, reach with your mighty hand every area of the body affected by this destructive process. Where there are hidden addictions, correct them. Where there are harmful habits, re-educate. Where there is negligence, awaken awareness. Let the person drowning in a sea of hopelessness now rise with a new mindset. Let them feel, deep in their chest, the beginning of a revolution. Let them know there is indeed a way out, that the path back to life begins with a decision. Jesus, let that decision be made right now, as this prayer is being spoken. Jesus, if there is someone hurting themselves, physically or emotionally, someone who stays silent when they most need to speak, someone who isolates themselves when they most need to be embraced, turn that pain into healing, turn that emptiness into purpose, turn that hidden surrender into reborn strength. You know the battles no one else sees. You know the sleepless nights barely survived, the days endured with a broken heart. And still, this person is here, listening, seeking, crying out. So Jesus, honor this attempt with freedom. Let no spirit of self-destruction remain. Let no silent death grip have power. Jesus, life is your gift. The body is your creation. The soul is your masterpiece. Don't allow these treasures to continue being treated as worthless. Restore healthy self-love. Teach self-care as an expression of gratitude. Let every action from now on reflect the decision to live well, to live with purpose, to live for you. Jesus, let this journey begin with courage, be sustained by faith, and end in testimony. Let this person never return to patterns of destruction. Let every step become a stair of restoration. Jesus, I thank you because I know that from this moment on, a new cycle has begun, a cycle of emotional health, mental clarity, and personal worth. A cycle where life is no longer a burden, but a mission. A cycle where every breath is an answer, every choice is intentional, every act of care is a seed of healing. Where there was ruin, now there will be rebuilding. Where there was pain, now there will be purpose, because you interrupted what the enemy was feeding in silence, and the life that was slipping away is now being fully restored. Jesus, after so many cries and divine interventions, I now ask you to place an impenetrable wall around everything you've already restored. Let no illness return to the body that was healed. Let no sadness reclaim the soul that was relieved. Let no anguish regain space in the mind that was set free. The work you began will be completed, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can undo it. Jesus, protect what was rebuilt by your touch. Let every restored cell remain strong. Let every renewed thought stay aligned with your truth. And let the peace received never be replaced by doubt. Jesus, cover every transformed area with your blood. Let no invisible arrow find a place to strike again. Let no trauma return. Let no crisis regain control. Everything gained in this prayer journey now needs spiritual, emotional, and physical protection. So surround it with your presence, seal it with your authority, and guard it with your unwavering gaze. Let the enemy not steal what was won through tears and faith. Let the temptations that once weakened lose their appeal. Let the thoughts that once destroyed lose their power. Jesus, guard each restored part as one guards a rare treasure. Jesus, deliver from relapse. Deliver from falling back into old habits. Deliver from external voices that try to weaken faith. So often after healing, doubts rise, insinuations, toxic comments. But you, Lord, are the shield that silences threats. You are the wall that resists every attack. Let the mind be guarded against lies. Let the body be defended against new attacks. Let the soul remain vigilant, never letting old pains slip back in disguise. Jesus, teach this person to stand firm with watchful eyes and a grateful heart, so that the miracle is not just a moment, but a new way of living. Jesus, strengthen the foundations of this restoration. The enemy doesn't just attack what is weak, he targets what was healed. But when the foundation is in you, no storm can destroy it, no wind can shake it, no evil scheme can break through. So plant deep roots in this new season. Let health be more than a temporary condition. Let it be a continual harvest. Let peace be renewed every day. Let the mind always be armed with your word. Jesus, make this person a living fortress, not just healed, but now also protected by you. Jesus, establish constant vigilance. When the days are good, let gratitude guard the heart. When temptations arise, let the memory of pain overcome. When routine tries to dull the miracle, let the testimony rekindle purpose. Let this protection be active, made of wise decisions, healthy habits, words of life, unshakable faith. Jesus, give discernment to detect what threatens peace. Give sensitivity to sense danger early. And above all, give authority to close every door the enemy once used to enter. Jesus, I praise you because I know you don't just heal, you preserve. What you touch, no one can defile. What you raise, no one can tear down. And now I rest knowing this life is guarded by you. The restored body is under your protection. The freed mind is under your light. The soul at peace is surrounded by your love. Nothing will be lost. No progress will be reversed. No miracle will be undone. Because you, Lord, protect with care all that you have rebuilt with power. Jesus, I come before you in this final cry, not only with a desire for healing, but with a longing to live with purpose. I know no pain is wasted when I surrender every tear, every sleepless night, every moment I wanted to give up. You never waste suffering. You turn pain into testimony, wounds into messages, failure into strength. So I ask you, use this story marked by tears as a tool for rebirth. Let everything that once broke me now become a bridge to lift others. Jesus, help me see that abundant life exists after pain. And where there was once only survival, now there is mission. Jesus, awaken within me a purpose greater than the trauma I lived. Let me not only be healed, but also become an instrument of healing. Let my voice reach hearts screaming in silence. Let my story prove that it's worth going on. I know the enemy tried to silence me through pain, tried to trap me in fear, tried to drown me in despair, but you raised me up. And if you raised me, it's because there's still something you want to do through me. Jesus, shape my steps to walk with authority, to speak with wisdom, to live with intention. Don't let me waste this new chance. Jesus, make my testimony a beacon of hope for those who believe they'll never rise again. Let my life become a living answer to those crying out for help. Where there is darkness, let my presence bring light. Where there is weariness, let my journey bring strength. Where there is surrender, let my faith awaken the desire to fight. You rebuilt me, and now I offer my life as proof that your power is real. No suffering will be forgotten. No pain will have been in vain. Every detail of my journey will be used to show that you are still working with grace, justice, and power. Jesus, show me the paths you want me to walk. Open the doors where your name will be glorified through what I've lived. Let me never hide in past pain, but move forward with the courage of one who has been healed by you. Use my hands, my voice, my story, my steps. Let everything in me proclaim the truth of your power. Where there were ruins, now there are solid foundations. Where there was silence, now there's proclamation. Where there were tears, now there's a fountain of comfort for many. Jesus, completely rewrite the story and start a new chapter of hope. Jesus, let the enemy never take me back to the places you've already rescued me from. Let the voices that once oppressed me never rise above the certainty of what you've done in me. Let my heart be so full of gratitude that nothing can paralyze me again. Let the purpose of living be not just survival, but growth, maturity, and building up others. The life you restored now belongs to you. The healing you gave me is now an instrument in your hands, and the road ahead will be walked with awareness, reverence, and mission. Jesus, make me a living testimony of your power. Lord Jesus, as I finish this prayer, I surrender to you everything I was, everything I am, and everything I will be. I come before you as one who recognizes the value of every tear turned into strength, every pain transformed into calling, every healing that now points to a greater purpose. I know you didn't just save me, you called me. May this new season not be marked by survival, but by mission. May every day from this moment on be lived as proof that you were here and left eternal marks. Lord Jesus, I thank you for this opportunity. Amen. If you made it this far, it's because something has already begun to change. This prayer wasn't just heard, it was experienced. Heaven moved while you were praying. Hidden pains, silent wounds, and invisible weights were confronted by the authority of Jesus. The body began to respond with lightness. The soul found rest, and the mind began to see more clearly. Because when Jesus touches, he doesn't just relieve, he transforms. This journey toward complete healing is already underway, and from this point on, everything will be different, because where there was disorder, there is now alignment between body, soul, and spirit. My friend, if this video blessed your life, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive notifications for the next videos. Don't forget to share your prayer request in the comments below. We want to pray for you. And if you want to go deeper in your spiritual journey and better understand how the Holy Spirit works in inner healing and soul restoration, consider getting our exclusive digital book. It will not only edify you deeply, but also help support this channel so we can continue producing life-changing content. May God pour abundant blessings over your life. See you in the next video.